you ever seen yourself, but not in a mirror? Have you ever felt like someone was watching you, even when you were completely alone? I never believed in the supernatural, but what happened to me that night changed everything. My name is Ethan, 27 years old. I live alone in a small apartment on the outskirts of the city. I work as a freelancer, which means I often stay up late, enjoying the silence of the night. That night was Friday, and it had been raining. The dim streetlights reflected off the wet pavement, creating eerie, shimmering patterns. I got home at around 11 p.m, exhausted after a long day. The apartment was unusually quiet. Normally I could hear my neighbours, the sound of a TV playing, footsteps in the hallway. But tonight, nothing. Not a single sound. I shook off the uneasy feeling, hung up my jacket, and went to the kitchen to pour myself a glass of whiskey. I sank into the couch and checked the time. 12:30 a.m. Out of habit, I glanced out the window. Across the street, someone was standing completely still under the dim glow of a street lamp. I squinted to see more clearly. They were wearing the exact same clothes I was wearing. A cold chill ran down my spine. I blinked, and they were gone. I stood up, moving closer to the window, peering outside. The street was empty. I must be exhausted, I muttered, brushing off the creeping sense of unease. I turned off the lights and went to bed, but the room felt colder than usual. I pulled the covers over me and closed my eyes. Then I heard it. A slow, deliberate knock at the door. Knock, knock, knock. I sat up instantly, my heart hammering. Who the hell would visit me at this hour? I slowly got out of bed, my bare feet touching the freezing wooden floor. As I moved toward the door, I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror, and I froze. The reflection in the mirror wasn't following my movements. It was standing perfectly still. Then slowly, it smiled, not a normal smile, a distorted, unnatural grin stretching far too wide. Its eyes were completely black. I felt paralyzed. Then it stepped forward, out of the mirror. A wave of cold air rushed over me. I wanted to move, to run, but I couldn't. It walked toward me, its steps slow and deliberate. Its lips moved. "You're in my place." I spun around to flee, but I ran straight into someone. I stumbled back, looking up. It was me, but not my reflection, not an illusion, a perfect replica of me. Every detail, down to the faint scar on my left eyebrow, was identical except its eyes. They were hollow. It leaned closer, whispering in my ear, "You don't belong here anymore." And then everything went black. When I woke up the next morning, everything looked the same. The room, the bed, the mirror. But there was one problem. I stepped toward the mirror. I had no reflection, not a smudge, not a shadow. Nothing. My breath caught in my throat. I turned and walked toward the living room, my pulse racing, and then I saw someone sitting on my couch, wearing my clothes. It was me, but not me. Slowly it turned to look at me and smiled. "Good morning." The voice was mine, but empty, lifeless. I tried to scream, but I couldn't. It stood up, walked toward me, placed a hand on my shoulder and whispered, "It's my turn to live now."